Welcome to the Chamber Vibes podcast with your host, Brittany Timmons, the Greater Guthrie Chamber of Commerce CEO and President. In this podcast, you will hear from local guests who will discuss topics such as leadership, small business, and our vibrant community. You'll also hear success stories and tips from amazing local businesses, dive into important news, meet community leaders, and find out how you can get involved in our community. From the Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful and historic downtown Guthrie, America, here is Brittany Timmons.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Chamber Vibes. I am here today with my friend Kris Morgan with Veteran Flags by Vets, which is one of our Chamber investor nonprofits. So how are you today?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Good. Absolutely. Yeah. So as you can see, this is probably one of our, top 3 now backgrounds because this is absolutely beautiful. So this is one of the hand-carved wood flags that Kris makes with Veteran Flags by Veterans, veterans make them. So yeah, let's just dive in. Talk about what is Veteran Flags by Vets.
Okay, well, I've fought depression. Being a disabled veteran, I fought depression for about 10 years. And I found woodworking as being very therapeutic. And so I started building wooden flags for friends and family. And my first flag, when I got it done, it took me about 3 days. And I went golfing with a veteran buddy of mine, and he had just got back from his 4th tour to Iraq. And when he got home, after golf, we went back to my garage, and he saw that flag, and he's like, "Man, where'd you buy that?" I said, "No, I didn't buy it. I built it." And he's like, "Man, you need to put me on I need one of those. I really do." And I said, "You know what? Why don't you just take that flag?" And then I saw him smile, and it's been a long time since I've seen James smile. And then it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, I can build these for veterans all over the country. It makes them, they know then that somebody's out there caring about them. Whenever they feel down, they can look up at the wall and look at that flag, and it changes veterans' lives. It really does.
That's awesome. So not only do you make them, let's talk about the workshops and things that you do for vets, and then we'll backtrack and talk about your story and what got you here.
Absolutely. So now I bring veterans to my home, and I teach them how to build their own wooden flag. It takes about 6 hours for a 5-person group to go through it. I have some things pre-cut for them, but they do all the burning themselves, the staining, the sealing, gluing the flag up, and they get to take it home that day.
Very cool. And so they sign up, or is this free? Is it a cost for veterans?
It's 100% free.
Okay.
So we're a 100% nonprofit, which I do want to say. Mm-hmm. We're the only veteran nonprofit in the state of Oklahoma is a 100%. Every dollar that comes in goes to the program.
No paid staff.
No paid staff. No gas money. We stopped all that. So the first 3 years, we're going to just 100%. We're going to reevaluate after 3 years and see. It's grown so much, which is so amazing.
Costs are involved, yes.
And the wood prices, oh my gosh.
Right.
But yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so that's what we're doing now, and yeah, it's going great.
Very cool. Okay, so you, like myself, are not a Guthrie native. And so how in the world did you end up in Guthrie, and why Guthrie?
Yes, so I lived in Del City about 25 years. Air Force put me here in 94, and when I got out in 2001, I never left. This is my home. I love Oklahoma. I love everything about it. But neighborhood was going downhill really bad. And one of my friends had a friend that purchased a property that he wanted to turn into a used car lot, and the city wouldn't allow it. So he was kind of stuck with it, and he bought it in auction. So he asked me if I wanted it as a rent-to-own, move up here to Guthrie, and I said, absolutely, And from the moment I got here, it's home. I love everything about it. There's something going on almost every weekend.
Very true.
Yes, and the people are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I've done a lot now with the VFW here in Guthrie, and I'm expanding not only my program, but myself as well.
That's awesome.
It's changed my life. Truly has.
So Guthrie's home now.
It is 100% home.
And you have definitely, like you said, got involved with the VFW, which again is one of our chamber investor nonprofits. And so you stay busy there,
Absolutely.
volunteering with them and serving with them, and you've just dove right into the community.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got your truck. You can't miss Kris's truck.
No, you cannot.
It says Veteran Flags by Vets on it, and it's amazing, and got patriotic colors and flag on it and everything like that. So yeah, I see you all over town.
I do have
you love it.
a real quick story about that.
Okay, tell it.
So I fell and hit my head a year and month ago, and I had major brain surgery. They said that I had 1% chance to survive it. One of my biggest donors, he's a civilian, Bob Bodine, he came over and picked up my vehicle from my mom and said, look, I'm going to have this wrapped. And my mom, of course, said, Bob, that there's a pretty good chance he's not going to survive this. Bob said he is. They had my vehicle for about 3 weeks, and as you see there, that's what it turned out to be. I had no say-so in it, nothing.
Okay.
But this gentleman actually did all of this for me for my program.
Wow. That's amazing. And yeah, you're a walking billboard.
It is.
Super cool.
It is. I had a little sticker on my back windshield before, and it had my logo and my phone number, and he took a picture of it. And he called me about 6 months later when he was going through his photos, and that's how we became really close friends. He said, you know, Kris, what drew me was seeing your little sticker on your thing at a stoplight in Edmond. And what better way to turn this into a billboard now?
Absolutely.
A full billboard. You're going to draw so many more people, and that has. It's
That's
great.
Amazing.
I get so many people honking at me,
Yes.
waving at me. I love it.
Yeah, you definitely cannot go around town like incognito.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Yes. So I had the pleasure of getting to know you a little bit more at our Rotary meeting where you came and told your story. And so I would love for you to share today your story. So you said you served in the Air Force.
I was Air Force. I joined in '94, right out of high school. I was an aerospace ground equipment mechanic. And on one tour to, or TDY to Saudi Arabia, I had fell when there was a dust storm coming in. I fell and hit the back of my head, and it knocked me out pretty good. After the sandstorm came through, they brought me in to see the flight surgeon, and he said, well, you got a mild concussion. Just go on back to your tent. Take the next couple days off work. Just rest. Put some ice on there, whatever, if it swells up. And I went back to my tent and laid down, and my roommates woke me up 27 hours later. And I had a massive headache in the back of my head. And long story short, I had a brain bleed that they didn't detect. So I started, they flew me to Germany. By the time I got to Germany, there was nothing. They couldn't draw the blood out. It was already clotted. It was done. Damage was done. After that, I just started dealing with migraines for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then one day at work, I had a seizure. And when they took me, they flew me to Houston for a brain test, and that's where they found my brain damage from that brain bleed. And they said, look, there's not a surgeon on earth that'll do the surgery to repair it. It's too risky. It's just something you need to live with. And the VA took care of me then, and now this is where I'm at now.
So that was kind of forced retirement for you.
It was a forced retirement.
Yes.
Yep. After 7 years and 2 months, it was medical retirement is what they call it.
Okay.
So, and then the VA started, and then I started doing a lot with them and a lot more testing and so forth. And come to find out, after you have one brain injury, you're subject to a lot more after that. And again, I just had a recent one a little over a year ago.
Right. And so we have some time. So I really want you to, if you don't mind, kind of go more into that about how, I mean, you are a walking miracle. You have an incredible story and testimony, and there's a reason why you're still here.
Yes.
And you really probably shouldn't be after all that you've been through.
Right.
So talk a little bit more about your accident a year ago, if you want to.
Yes,
if that's
absolutely.
Okay.
So I fell in the middle of the night. I was on Ambien for the longest time because I couldn't sleep. I just had so much going on, and the VA prescribed me that, and I had a really bad migraine for about 3 days, and I called my son. He lives over in Okarche, and I said, Tyler, I need you to come stay with me because something's not right. Give me a couple days, but he got there, and I said, look, tonight I'm going to take 2 Ambien because I'm not sleeping. If I can sleep 8 hours, I'll wake up and this migraine will be gone. So I took the 2 Ambien and laid down, went to sleep. Right away, I was good to go, but at sometime in the middle of the night, I got up and fell and hit my head on the bathtub. And I don't remember any of it at all, but at some point, I went and woke up my son and said, I think we need to go to the hospital. And my son said I was just walking like a zigzag. I was slurring my words. He knew it was severe, so loaded me up, and we're on 35, taking me to Edmond and Tegris. And by the time we got there, I was in and out of consciousness, and they brought a wheelchair out to get me. When the nurses put me in the wheelchair, I started screaming that this person kidnapped me. I had no idea who my son was. And I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be home. And that's when they knew it was a massive brain injury. They called for life flight. Both life flights here in the city were being used. So somebody had brought an ambulance in, or an ambulance came in and dropped somebody off there at the hospital, and they immediately went over there to them and said, hey, you got to get him to OU Med now. They red and blue lighted me all the way down there. I was in surgery within 45 minutes. The surgeon came out. They had to remove the whole left side of my skull. Normally, they insert your skull into your belly to preserve it while
Which
that's
is
open.
Wild.
Yes, and when the surgeon removed my skull, my brain was throbbing, and he said he's never seen that before. He's heard about it, and it's usually 100% fatal. So what they did is they put my skull in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer because they expected me not to survive. 3 days later, they came in and they said, well, he's showing signs that wanting to wake up, so let's attempt to wake him up. But the surgeon said, I want you and the family to know, that he was talking to my son, I want you and the family to know if he does wake up, he'll never walk and never talk again. Because the damage.
You're sitting here talking to me on this podcast.
Absolutely. And again, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
So that was when my son and my mother came in from Kentucky to be with me for about 3 months for my recovery. But that's when it hit my family that this is really, really, really bad. But Doc came in. It took me about 10 hours to wake up from the anesthesia and everything, the sedation. And they came in and pulled my ventilator. And I said, what's up, Doc? And the doc was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Wait, had they repaired your skull at this point?
No, my skull was still removed.
Okay.
It was still in the freezer, so it was removed for 10 days. And then they got me up to walk. They asked if I wanted to walk, and it took me about another day before we did that. And this is a crazy story too. I had a walker. I had 2 nurses on each side, and granted, I'm walking with no skull over here, no protection.
Right.
So I knew we needed that, but we did 1 lap around ICU with the walker, and we got back to my room, and they sat me down, and they said, well, that was amazing. And I said, I thought we were going to walk. And they thought I was saying, like, I didn't remember walking. And I was like, no, I want to walk. And they're like, Mr. Morgan, we just walked. You just did a big lap. You got clapped for with all the nurses. I said, no. And I kicked the walker, and it fell down, and I said, now let's go walk. And I started to stand up, and the nurse was like, oh my gosh. They held me, no walker. I did 3 more laps around ICU, just walking, no walker. I just got chills. And every time I went around, whenever nurses, they were clapping for me, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
And then how much longer after that did you get to go home?
10 days later, they put me back in surgery, put my skull back on. Unfortunately, my skull shrunk a little bit because it was in the freezer, not in my stomach. So my recovery was a little bit longer, about a year. He said it's going to take 1 year to 2 years to recover. The only issue that I have now, I have had 2 strokes after, which in my recovery, they said seizures are very, very likely. And which I've dealt with seizures all my life, which is no big deal, or since my injury. It's no big deal, but then I had 2 strokes. He said, well, of course, you're going to be the different one, Kris. So I had 2 strokes. I lost a little bit of vision in my right eye, my peripheral vision, and that is it. I'm walking, I'm talking. Matter of fact, 10 days after I was in the hospital 10 days. They let me come home after that. And 10 days after that, I asked the doctor if I could golf. And he said, absolutely, Kris. But your body is so worn out. And I lost 48 pounds in those 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, it was quick. He said, yeah, you can try it. He said, I just highly recommend you just chip and putt, do little things. And me and 3 of my friends went out here to Guthrie National. And I played all 18 holes.
And you
friends.
didn't just putt.
Didn't just putt. I did everything. And that's when I learned my body was really struggling. It knocked me down for about a week. But that was just my drive. You know, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be with my friends. I'm a miracle.
You are.
I do want to get into, years ago with dealing with my depression, I attempted to take my own life. And as hopefully everyone in the bar that's listening knows, that 22 veterans commit suicide every day. There's a couple things where I want to chime in on. Everything happens for a reason. I had a lady up in Woodward build my logo, my Veteran Flags by Vets logo, and when she sent it to me, one of my veteran friends counted the stars, and he goes, was this planned? I was like, no, what are you talking about? Well, there's 22 stars on that logo.
Wow.
I said, no, that wasn't planned. That was not planned. So that was 122 thing. My first year of having my nonprofit, I raised, how much do you think that we raised as a nonprofit in my first year, 2 years ago?
$22,000.
$22,022.
Oh, wow.
Not planned.
Right.
Not planned. I get goosebumps still thinking about it.
That's amazing.
I mean, everything happens for a reason. And me being here today, I know it's God's way of saying, keep going, keep pushing. You're doing amazing things. And now I'm getting veterans out, teaching them, and they love it.
Right.
Now they're doing amazing things.
And you're an avid pool player.
I am.
Yes. So is that something you took up later on?
8 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. It was one thing that the surgeon said is find another hobby because it'll change up your everyday thing. And so I started playing here in Guthrie. And
there's a pool table that you were given?
I was given this pool table last week, matter of fact.
Yes.
He totally rebuilt this pool table because he knows I bleed red, white, and blue.
Right.
And
that's beautiful.
Total shock. Didn't feel worthy, but it's amazing. I mean, I've met so many people here in Guthrie, in Edmond and Stillwater, through the pool community, and it's just, I love it.
And you had no idea that you would be a really good pool player.
No idea. No idea. But I think it's something more about my brain injuries. I concentrate a lot more than what I used to.
Right.
And my disposition, my everything, my attitude, my everything changed when this happened. I mean, my personality. And I read it in a book, too, that when you have major brain surgery like this, you typically go from one person to another. It's like a total transformation.
Right.
And I've seen it. And it's a great thing. Great thing that I'm here. And yeah.
I think a lot of people go through, not just with brain injuries too, but just a lot of times if a major medical something happens,
Absolutely.
It seems that people are changed, and a lot of times for the good. Not always, but a lot of times,
Yes.
you know, it changes perspective. I've seen that with my own father, you know,
Yes.
and just kind of changes how you live.
Absolutely,
and
it does.
we should all be thankful for every day, for sure. But
Yes.
when you have something like that happen to you,
Every
I'm sure
day it's a blessing.
your whole perspective is different.
Every day. And the other thing is I have a very busy schedule, which is great.
Yes.
But if I wake up in the morning, the doctor said the first 2 years, you will have good days and bad days. They call it good brain day or a bad brain day. If you have a bad brain day, cancel everything that day. Just rest. And the first couple bad brain days that I woke up to, I pushed through. And what it did is it knocked me down for about 3 to 4 days. The first time that I said, nope, I'm having a bad day, I'm going to cancel, the very next day I was up and going again. It was... So that's when I finally said, look, if I wake up, it's a bad day, I cancel everything.
Right. You have to know that your limits
yes,
and those
absolutely.
boundaries. Because like you said, you don't want it to delay you from doing other things.
Exactly.
So
I'd rather just get knocked down one day,
yes,
not 3 days.
Right. And so let's talk about your fur baby that has played a very big role in your life, because you two travel together.
Yes, we do travel together. It's not announced yet, but there's big things coming between Andy and I. But 4 years ago, I was given a service dog from American Humane. From a lady here in Stillwater. She trained Andy, and she's been a blessing, an absolute. I had 1 month before my brain injury, and this is the main reason I had my brain injury. I had a heart attack, and she woke me up at 3 a.m, pouncing on my chest 3 times, and I was like, oh my gosh, you really have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Excuse me. And I got up and went to the restroom, and I said, okay, well, as soon as let me go real quick and I'll take you out. And during that time, I had a massive heart attack, hit the floor. She ran out to my nightstand, grabbed my cell phone, brought that to me. I called 911. By the time 911 got there, I was in my recliner in the living room, and the paramedics got there, and she was guarding him. No, you're not coming in here. He's hurting. And once I called her back and everything, they took care of me. Got me down to Edmond again, and I had stents put in. And after that surgery, I was on 3 different blood thinners to help those stents take in and effect and so forth. And that's when I fell and hit my head, is when I was on all those blood thinners. Right. That's why my brain bleed was so severe.
Right. So Andy saved your life, literally.
She saved my life that night.
She brought you your phone. And what kind of dog is Andy?
She's Black Lab and Bull Mastiff mix, but she looks identical to a Black Lab. But thank you to American Humane. They have a Pups for Patriots program. It's absolutely amazing.
There's Andy right there on the screen. She's so beautiful.
We travel a lot. We go to...
I'm partial to labs.
Oh, yes. I am, too.
Yeah,
matter of fact,
our producer might be, too.
And my parents bred them as well. And just to find out I was getting a Black Lab, it was, oh my gosh. And I was really nervous at first, because they said, you're going to get a 1-year-old Black Lab. And I was like, oh.
She's going to be crazy.
Can I do this? This is going to be... Because they're so hyper.
Right.
Oh, no. She's not.
That's how our lab is.
So
super
calm.
Yes.
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 Yep.
It's like
once
they know.
in a lifetime.
Right.
Yep.
It's amazing.
So
you two travel together and you speak.
We do. We speak at events for American Humane and West Palm Beach. We do a lot of events down there, and it's great.
That's awesome.
She's a blessing.
Yes, absolutely. That's so cool. So let's talk about ways that people can help. What can they do to help your cause and Veterans Flags by Vets?
Yes, please just share the page. I have a veteran workshop coming up this Thursday. I prefer to have 5 veterans there, and typically day before or day of, I'll get a cancel or 2. It would be great to find some local vets here in Guthrie that I can call that morning and say, I had a cancellation. Can you get out here and make a flag? If you've already been through the program, being a Guthrie resident, I'm all for you coming and building another flag just to fill that spot. And you can give it to one of your family members, or you can just give it to some random person at Simone's or over here at Katie's, just anybody. I just want to fill the class every time we do it. We try to do 2 a month, and those are always on my webpage.
Okay.
On my Facebook page of Veteran Flags by Vets.
There it is right there.
And like I said, I do have one this Thursday. The classes start at 10 o'clock in the morning.
And it's right there, October workshop. There it is.
Yes, and that is going to be, like I said, Thursday. It starts at 10. We do some paperwork. You burn the flag. You stain the flag while it's drying. Cowboy Chicken out of Edmond caters in the food.
Oh, nice.
For the veterans. So, I mean, we have sodas there for you, bottled water, no drinking, of course, of any alcoholic beverages or nothing. You build the flag, you get lunch, you get to take that flag home that day, and it's memories. You get to meet other veterans. And the other thing I like to do is my nonprofit. I don't like competing with other nonprofits.
Right.
And I know it's super difficult for a lot of them, but I bring other veteran nonprofits out to talk about their program during my class, during downtime.
Okay.
A big one is Warriors for Freedom and Operation Freedom Outdoors. These are nonprofits that offer golf, hunting, fishing, all sorts of things. And whether I bring a vet out, I'm hoping that they find woodworking as being therapeutic. But if it's not, I want them to know there's other nonprofits out there that if they want to golf, yes. Right. And that's I love to do that, and I love helping out other nonprofits, because at the end of the day, we're all in it for the same mission, and that's to bring that number 22 down to 0. Right. We need to find veterans purpose and find them something to do with their hands.
Right. So people can help by donating funds to help you keep going.
Yeah, and it's extremely difficult right now. When I started this program 3.5, 4 years ago, I have always picked up the exact same order of wood from the lumber shed down in the city. And when I originally started, it was $147 a load. The last time I went, a month ago, to pick up the load, it was over $900. Wow. I mean, 8 times more than what it was. So we're struggling financially. We're trying to find some local people here in Guthrie that would maybe do an annual donation. Again, we're 100% nonprofit, so we can give you a tax deductible letter. Whatever you can do would be amazing. But if I could find several donors here in the city, it would change a lot of veterans' lives.
Cool. And let's talk about, too, before we wrap up, we've got a video we can actually play, but another passion of yours, obviously 100% is helping veterans and others like yourself. But you love to, at our local events, and especially 89ers Day Parade, you love to go around and give out either crosses or flags.
Yes, so we have a parade trailer, and on that trailer there's crosses all around it. And we just randomly find a veteran. We usually have a country singer, Maddox Ross, playing in the thing, and we'll have him announce every now and again, if you're a veteran, raise your hand. And some of the veterans that have been through my program come and walk and help us find vets, and we just randomly hand out crosses and shake their hand, give them a hug, and tell them that we appreciate their service. And we love doing the things for the the police officers and first responders as well.
PD got a blue and black flag with their colors. So love that.
It's so rewarding, and that's what I love about. The other thing was, when a veteran comes through my program, they not only build their own flag, but they're going to build a cross as well. And on that cross they have to promise me, you're not going to give it to a family member. You're going to put it in your car, and when you're out eating breakfast or lunch or dinner and you see a veteran wearing a hat, just go out to the car and get that cross and go present it to him and just tell him thank you, him or her. And that's the fuel that you get in your heart, is the appreciation and the tears, the smiles, the stories, and that's the fuel.
I've witnessed it. So you were able to, you partnered with the VFW and had a booth at Midwest Lift Fest a couple of weeks ago. I guess that was last weekend, at Vance Auto Group, which is an event near and dear to my heart, because I help serve on that committee. And you gave out some flags and crosses that day.
Yes, so we called all the vets over to the booth, and I personally thanked them for their service. And originally, I was
There's your booth right there.
Yeah, I said originally I was going to give 1 or 2 away to random vets with their service branch on the cross or whatnot. And we had 7 or 8 up there, and I said, I can't pick out 2 in my head. I said, every one of you go over there and pick out any cross that you want. If you want anything added to it, I will engrave it. I will take care of it. And, I mean, the tears that we got, the smiles that we got, the hugs that I got, that's the fuel.
That's it. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you're doing good work, friend. And now I hope that you all know a little bit more about Veterans Flags by Vets. Definitely check them out on their website. What's the actual website address?
It is flagshonoringvets.com.
Flagshonoringvets.com. There it is. Chris has it pulled up for us.
You can go up there and click the order form. And that's where you can submit an order for a veteran. If you want to nominate a veteran to receive a free flag, there's all the information you put in. There's a drop-down tab there that you just ensure that it's a free flag. I do ship them. I have a flag in all 50 states. Matter of fact, I didn't even say I am at over 1,250 flags that I've made. Every
in
flag
3 years?
is numbered in three and a half years.
That's amazing. Yes, I see that right here on the cross that we have. Has the number on the back, number 383.
Yep, that's the crosses are numbered differently too. So that those started at 1 and now we're at 3, probably around 400.
That's amazing. So not just limited to Guthrie or to Oklahoma. So if you have a vet in your life or know someone that you want to bless, definitely get with Kris and check out the website, and you can do that way. Or you can just donate and know that all of the donations go straight to their mission. And what else? What else do we want to add?
I do want to plug Sonny.
Yes.
Followthebeard.com. He is an amazing person. I became
he
really
loves Guthrie.
He loves.
Yes.
I mean, he should be married at some point. He's I met him at the VFW, and he's the one that pushed me to get with the chamber and everything. And
thank you, Sonny. We love that. One of our gold chamber investors.
I just want to grow up and be like him sometime. He's an amazing person.
He is.
And thank you, Sonny, for getting me involved in Guthrie.
Yeah.
And
there you go. Follow the beard. Shout out to Sonny. Yes. And he has SCORE Marketing and also SCORE Property Management. And so he's a realtor. He can help do rental and commercial properties, things like that. So definitely hit him up. And he's a chamber investor, so definitely love giving him some love. And I just love watching. He's so fun to watch on social media. He goes around supporting local businesses. I mean, almost daily.
Yes.
Definitely several times a week. You know, he'll purchase something and give it out, or encourage people to get into our local shops and restaurants, and I love it.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, 4 months after my brain surgery, we were talking at the VFW one night, and he said, "What do you want to do? And where do you want to go eat?" And I said, "I really want White Castle." And he goes, "Where's the closest White Castle?" I said, "St. Louis, Missouri." And 2 weeks later, he had 10 of us loaded up in a limo. He rented this limo, drove us to St. Louis.
Wow.
He bought 700 White Castles. We ate those all the way back. Boy, did that limo stink.
Did you eat 700?
No, I had probably 20, 25. Yes. But he brought them home, and everything that was left, he took it up to the schools, donated it, and so forth. So he's amazing. But he really took care of me and some of my friends and family. It was awesome.
That's cool. Well, we always say community wins, #community wins, and that's exactly how.
It is.
We all win when we are loving on each other and helping one another and being a true community. And that's what we try to do here in Guthrie. So
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Definitely follow him on social media, and of course visit the website, see how you can get involved. And thank you just for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
I am so glad you're here, friend. I am
too.
so glad that you are doing what you do. So you and Andy just keep on keeping on.
Absolutely.
And can't wait to see what else you do, and bigger and better things I know are in your future. So
awesome. Thank you,
Kris.
Guthrie. Thank you.
Absolutely. So all right, there you have it, Kris with Veteran Flags by Vets. Have a good day, everyone, and we'll catch you next time for Chamber Vibes.
Thanks for listening to the Chamber Vibes podcast from Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful downtown Guthrie, America. Be sure and check out a new episode every other Monday. And until then, remember to choose Guthrie.